Hey, God bless everybody. You all make sure you tune in and share. Tag 7 people, tag 7 millennials, tag some married folks. Let's have a real conversation. Ever since made that video, getting a lot of feedback, good, bad, negative, personal opinions, opinions that people value. So we want to talk about it. We want to have a conversation today. You don't have to necessarily agree to disagree or agree. We can agree to disagree, et cetera, et cetera. But it's time to have a little conversation. All right, so let's get these numbers up. I am personally on Facebook, Bishop Amir Likes page, Bishop Amir's may public page. You can also catch us on YouTube. Um, you can check it out on YouTube. So let's get these numbers up. Come on. 1 second. We're supposed to have a couple people coming in, a couple of guests, but I don't know what happened. But so we got to have a conversation. It was very interesting and very, very interesting. The many perspectives that a lot of people have concerning marriages, and the requirements they have. I think it's really, and I'm going to get some people on. They're coming on about a couple minutes, and I'm just waiting on them. I think a lot of people. Now, you all do me a favor. If you that are on, because we're on 4 platforms, please share this right now, because we're going to get into it. We got to talk, you all. We talk about church. We talk about issues of the church, but we got to talk about the family dynamics. Now, the family dynamics has significantly changed over the years, and there's many different reasons why. But there's some things that we need to talk about. I found out that women don't want a man to tell them much of anything. I found that to be true through my personal experiences. As of years, as you know, early years, I found out that these millennials also don't want to be told anything. They don't want to resemble anything of the past. They don't want anything to look like the past. They don't want the marriages to look like the past. And I'm finding out quite clearly we are at a strong divide as it relates to roles in marriages. And we do a little bird walking. My sermon, the video that went viral, the sermon was about preparation. I was praying for it, but I wasn't prepared for it. So I deal with preparation, and I made a statement, and I said, stop wanting to get married and you can't even cook. Well, we understand that cooking is not going to necessarily keep a man, is not going to necessarily keep him from cheating, et cetera, et cetera. But that was not the monologue at the time. The time was whatever you want or whatever you're getting ready to get into, to make sure that you prepare for it. All right. It wasn't about if he's going to cheat or not. But the same vice versa as for the men, because I told them a lot of men get married in the church because they want to be ordained, particularly Pentecostals. Said that's not the reason you get married. And you get married, and if you're going to be a man, you have to be responsible. These are the kind of things that you have to prepare for. You just don't hop into it. So we're going to talk tonight about it. It's really not a wrong or right answer. It's a perspective from many different angles. But I do know that those that are 45 plus at a different angle concerning marriage versus those that's 45 and under. I'm going to read this on, and I'm going to bring a couple of guests on. Don Mozan of Rutgers University said some important things. She said one of the most important social changes unfolding in the United States over the past half century has been the decline of the institution of marriage. It declined especially steep among blacks in 1960s. And this were people when they was berailing and giving all the comments, ignorant comments, they were saying this is not the 30s, this is not the 40s, this is not the 50s, and they were referencing that. And quite clear, even though they were being dismissive in the approach, they actually are telling the truth. It's not the 40s, it's not the 50s, it's not the 60s. Because in the 60s, roughly 74% of whites were married, and a rate dropped to 56% in 2008. And that's a big drop, but compared to the plummeting marriages rate for blacks, in 1960, 61% of blacks were married during the civil rights in 1960, but then 2008, it declined to 32%. So now we have 73% of our children being born into homes without fathers. And quite quickly, we understand the crack law, the crack epidemic, the prison pipeline was the cause of a lot of that. But 42% of the women today are not married. So I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to bring my highly opinionated guests. I didn't bring everybody on that agrees with my theory. I brought our Sister Sean on, and I got Brother Dante, who is highly opinionated about this matter, who's an alpha male. So this should be a great dialogue, but I need you all to do this. I need you all to share. I want to hear your opinions. Tag every friend, every lady friend. Women, what is your place? Do you have a place, or there's no place and you just, marriage should be neutral. It should be neutral roles. There shouldn't be a place for women. There shouldn't be a responsibility for men. Neutral roles. Quite now when we go out to eat, they put the ticket in the middle between King and I. They used to give it to me when we first dated. The man just paid the bill. So have our gender roles changed? And if the culture and society has changed the roles, has God changed his mind concerning the roles? So let's get Sean on. Sean, and I know she got a lot to say. And Dante is going to have a lot to say. And this is going to be quite interesting. God, hold on, I'm going to say God bless you. This ain't church. Hello, how are you all?
Good evening, sir.
No cussing rule. Every time, if you do cuss, you'll $5 cussing fee to any disclaimer to anybody that cusses.
Oh, well, let me go ahead and log off now. I'm still sitting here. Listen, I'm actually not going to be on that long because I'm still at work. We're doing the Lord's work up here in this convention center in Baltimore. So we're trying to wrap up. But listen, your post. Here's the thing, and a lot of it started because of the 60-second clip that my dude Larry put up, and then the conversation kind of went from there. It's hard to get the full context of what you were trying to say on a 60-second video blurb. It's a soundbite, right? But to further the conversation along, the other piece, I think, have the roles changed? I'm sure they have, because you have more people in the workplace now. Back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you didn't have a lot of women in the workplace, like black women, especially in the workplace. So they were more domestic workers than they are white collar workers now. So now, the money is more evenly spread around between the household and blah, 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 and so on and so forth, in my opinion. Do we want somebody that can cook? I mean, it's nice, but, everybody got to bring something to the table. Not just cooking food. Yeah, it's everything. It's not just the food. It's the personality. It's things that you have in common. It's everything. It's not just, if you want to get married, you got to know how to cook. Nigga, you know how to cook.
Well, first of all, Dante, how long you been married?
27 years.
All right. And how old are you?
48.
You're still a young buck. All right, Sean.
We're the same age, you nut.
No. See, go ahead, Sean. I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, so let me off the bat say I've been married for 20 years, and it shouldn't be this conversation that people have been engaging in about roles and marriage should not just be predicated on whether or not you're married. I understand that you have a different perspective if you're in something versus trying to get into something. I get that. But today, as I was on your page and listening and reading rather, what many of the men were saying, and some of them pastors, I believe many of them Christians, it's alarming as a mother to 4 daughters, the thoughts that some of these men are espousing. I definitely wouldn't want my daughters to be with those men, with the sons of those men. And let me tell you why. Because it appears that there is a specific role that is carved out for women that God did not say that. God did not say that. I understand about being a helpmeet, but let's define help. Let's define help. I have no problems with that. I have no problems with cooking. I believe if I had sons, I would want my sons to know how to cook. That's imperative. It's not a male or female role. It's about necessity of eating. It's about being able to do things for yourself and both people coming to the table and being able to enhance one another. But what happened, the conversation devolved to such a level that if we don't understand millennials, if we don't even understand ourselves as Gen Xers, as people need to evolve and change, and that the Black woman has really propped up the Black church. I mean, we're going to talk about it. Let's be all the way real. There's going to be a problem. You're going to see an exodus. And I find that sometimes when pastors, especially Black male pastors, are talking to their audience, they're not reading the room. And what I mean by that is 70 to 80% of these churches have Black women in there. So who are you talking to? You're not talking to the Black man. And then what you're talking to him about is not the same as what you're talking to the Black woman about. Somebody got on your page, Amir Bishop, and they said, man, this is not 1982, it's 2022. But you didn't share with him the same way that you came at the women in terms of what needed to happen. And so men appear to get a pass in terms of what it is that they want, what it is that they need. And we can talk real good about what a woman should do. But to me, where are the men talking to the men about what their roles are, what they should be doing? And I'm not talking about getting up there and pastoring. I'm talking about being in the home. I'm talking about if you're going to be with a woman and you're going to father a child, taking care of that child.
All right. So the question that we would have to define, let's start here. What the Bible says that I made man in his own image. I told him to have dominion over the earth. And he told him it's not good for man to be alone. And that I would make him a helpmeet. So, first of all, what is the role of a wife in marriage?
I believe that she is to be a helpmeet. In order for someone to help, you have to have a vision. And so for some, I won't say all because there's no all of anything. There's some of something in every category. There are many men who don't have a vision that they can articulate to a prospective mate or that they can articulate to their wives. What we hear is obey. What we hear is, well, follow me. And I believe Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. And so there are some issues there sometimes. That
okay, so is that wrong for you to follow him?
No, absolutely. Because I was going to say, I have no problems following you if you're doing the other part. If he said, follow me as I follow Christ, then the question becomes, are you following Christ, men? You're wanting wife privileges. You're wanting your wives to do things that, guess what? You're not even showing good leadership. And that doesn't mean that because you're not showing good leadership that she stops doing what she's called to do and is supposed to do as a wife. What I will tell you is, as a wife for 20 years and as a natural born female for 50, it makes it very hard. It makes it very hard to follow someone who is not showing vision, who is not implementing what it is in terms of the plan for this family. And so it would be nice, it would be refreshing if men, especially Black male pastors, would pull up these young brothers. You don't need to keep checking Black women all the time. You don't have to do that, because when the Black man hasn't been in the home, the Black woman has been there. And I hear a lot of talk about Black women are independent. Bruh, we've had to be. It's been us or nothing. Period. And so now men are upset because women are saying, well, I could do it by myself. I don't believe that that's the desire of all women. Some, yes, but that's also going back to what they've seen. And so if you check it, you look and see that 75%, if I'm not mistaken, of Black women over the age of 45 have not had their fathers in the home. that colors everything that you do. It colors how you see men. It colors how you see your husband, because you don't know what a daddy is supposed to do. And so you're looking and you're learning as you're raising children with this man.
Okay, now I hear a lot of black women saying what women need and women ain't not going to get. But the truth of the matter is, roughly 55% of black women said it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated, compared to 28% of white women. Half of black women said the financial stability should be an important precondition for marriage. Now, women have preconditions, but it's not okay for men to have. This is noted. This is statistically speaking, psych work by from Rutgers University. But only a quarter of white women felt that way. So why? So if black women are, this and that, why do we find out that our black men are going to white women then?
I think you'd have to really ask black men that question, because I've asked myself, and when I look at that, the natural inclination for me is to say, I wonder what the relationship is between that black son and his black mother, right? What is that relationship? Is there a good relationship? I think that there are also men who want to not be questioned. You just want somebody to pick up and do. And I read this in the Washington Post many, many years ago. And I'll have to go back and find this article because it was very telling. It was a conversation between white women. And what they said is whenever they feel down and they don't feel good about themselves, they go and they'll date a black man because he'll do any and everything for her. And I think that's very telling. The same black man that will do any and everything for Barbie on his arm will not do it for a black woman. Will not. We have to get out there and work. I chuckled to myself as I looked at what the men were saying about your comment. Black men, get out here and work where you can provide an avenue to bring your wife off of her job. Black men like, I'm not doing that. She working. I gotta work. Everybody gotta work. But if it was the same white girl who said, honey, I really would love to stay home and take care of the children, he's going to bust his butt and make sure that he can do that. Why is that? And that's not a question I can answer as a black woman. I think black men have to challenge each other to answer that question.
Well, yeah, but it seems as though everybody's pointing the fingers at each other.
Of course.
And so there's no neutral ground. That the preacher, the pastor, the church needs to do this. The church is out. Well, I think the truth of the matter is, if we're not marrying, if black young people are not marrying, the black family, after the conditions of the effects of the 90s and the prison initiatives and all these kind of things, I think, but it won't be a black family in 20 years.
I think you're right. But this is nothing new. There's a guy, his name is Alvin Toffler. He's deemed to be a futurist. And this was 30 years ago, where he wrote a book called The Third Wave. It was written at a high level for government officials to be able to understand how you're able to control the population, how you're able to break apart the family. And so a lot of it has to do with our public education, which I think 85% of Black children attend public schools across this country. We look at the family structure where you have to work. For most people, it takes two incomes to make the household work. And so if both mom and dad are working, who's there for the child when they come home? They're raising themselves. And so for many people who grew up in the time frame that I did, we were latchkey kids, right? You had your little, your key to your house around your neck. You had your little routine. You got in, you called your mom, and you did what you had to do. But all of those things fostered something in those children where you learned how to be reliant on yourself. Those lessons don't go away because you got married. And so what I think we're seeing with millennials especially, they're looking at the relationships that their parents and their grandparents had under the guise of marriage, and they're saying, I don't want that. Because how many pastors have we heard of, Black, white, and Puerto Rican, who've been married and they've had whole families on the side, right? They've had chicks on the side, they've had men on the side, but yet they're in the pulpit telling everyone else how to live a life that they don't really espouse to. And millennials are saying, no, I don't want the hypocrisy anymore. I'm going to live life on my terms. And guess what? We're staying together longer and we're not married. And these people over here married, and they can't get it together. How do we combat that as the church and as the Black family?
So it seems as though you're giving the Black man a hard time.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because I think it goes on, it's on both sides. I used to work for the U.S. Department of Education, and research shows that children, Black children, do better when there is a father in the home, when he is present. And so and so that father, they never talked about being married. They just said father in the home. And so I think we've got to look at, what does this mean in terms of relationships? How are we talking to our daughters and our sons about sex? That's very important. This generation is very sexually free. And I think perhaps every generation has been to a different level. Here it's just out in your face and it's blatant. You're going to be who you're going to be. You're going to do what you want to do. We're going to love is love. And when you have that, we don't really have the covering for what we would say is a traditional family, right? People can have two moms, they can have two dads, you could be in a gang, that's a family. There are many things that constitute family. And so we're really rallying against that to say, what is a nuclear family? And what does it mean for a father to be in the home? Is it important? I believe that it is. I know that it is. I don't know that our young Black men believe that, because I think that they may not have seen it. And conversely, the same with Black women, because perhaps they've not seen it in their own households. It's only been mama and grandma and auntie, and that's it.
So do we believe in the Bible or not?
Absolutely.
Y'all, I was there in the comments. Y'all do not believe in the Bible. It's impossible for you all to believe in the Bible when it tells you the older women should teach the younger one.
But here it is. It's hard for somebody to teach someone something that they've never been taught. And if I just told you that the older women, right, we talking about, I ain't talking about grandma and them 70, 75, 80, because grandmothers now are hitting 40, right? You have 40-year-old grandmothers. We're just going to keep it all the way real. She can't teach her younger daughter or sister something that she wasn't taught. So now,
but would you agree that this generation don't want to hear anything that brought us this far?
I'm not going to leave it on this generation, because what I realize is this generation is who they are because of the generation that we are in. Many of us say, and I've heard people say, oh, these kids are soft out here. They don't want to work for nothing. But you turn around, mom and daddy, you've given them everything. You've given them everything that wasn't given to you. You had to go get it out the mud. But in you getting it out the mud, you said, my kids will never have to do this. Therefore, this generation, they are your kids. They haven't had to do the things that you had to do to realize a level of success. Now, who does that fall on?
Now, I hear a lot of you all, you're dealing with the colloquial terms and the etymology. I'm a diva, I'm a boss chick, I'm this, I'm that. But yet, at what expense? Dealing with as we're preparing to build our school and institute our new school, people that was going to third grade this year are literally reading at a kindergarten level because they haven't been in school for 3 years. And who does that fall on? You know, it's going to fall consequently on the mother. So we're saying we're boss chicks, you're divas, you can provide for your own self. You got cars, you got homes. You all share this. Tag somebody's name. I need everybody to please share, because this is a healthy conversation. Please do that. Share as many tag as many names you have. You have children, grown-ups, people that want to get married, people that are married. Abundant faith, y'all come on, chime in. Tag those abundant faith. So what expense are you? I see Dr. Lambert on as well. What expense are you? Have you sacrificed your children for your career? I believe a lot of people have.
Men and women. Because here it is. It's easy for a woman to hear this conversation and right off the bat, like, oh, he's misogynistic because you put it on the woman, right? It's on her. But let's follow that up. It's on her because there's not a father in the home.
And what is misogynistic? Who made that up?
I can't tell you who made it up. I'm talking about an attitude, because I don't know who made up the word. But what I will say is this: anytime you take something and you place the sole accountability, and we're just talking about gender, the sole accountability all falls over here. Black men who are in the church love to say that women are nurturers. Who said that? Jesus Christ wasn't a nurturer, and I know he was all male. He was most definitely a nurturer. It's not just on the woman. Let me just finish. It's not just on the woman to nurture. I just gave you statistics that when the dad is in the home, that child does better educationally. What's wrong, daddy, with you getting out a book and reading to that child? That doesn't fall solely on the mother. That's both of us coming together, whether that mother and father are married or not. Put that child first and what they have to be able to face in life. And now we figure out a system. But many people are just wanting to say, well, it's on the woman. She out here, she working hard. She ain't even thinking about those kids. Okay, well, bro, what are you doing? What are you contributing on that child support? Because that's a whole nother level, right? Black men don't want that woman to take him down to the court, to the white man, to get that money so that she wouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs and be a boss chick to provide for that child.
Don't do
We're
that.
not talking about that, though.
Don't do that. We don't want to
Don't
talk
do that.
Don't do that.
I mean, you can't listen. Hold on. So, look. Here's the problem that I have with that statement, though, right? And I'm going to say this: adults shouldn't have to involve the judicial system and taking care of your children.
Shouldn't have to.
That's my beef with that. You shouldn't have to. Real adults, if you have children with someone and you two aren't going to be together, then be adults and come to an agreement and stick with your agreement. Because being a man is more than laying down making a baby. Just take care of them also, fiscally and fiscally.
Right.
If that makes sense.
There's
right?
No argument
and
there.
So you can fold your arms and you can hug, but it's true. Like, we don't put enough on that for the young brothers, and we don't teach them. Even if you don't have to be with her if you make a baby. Now, first of all, this ain't church, so I'm gonna speak the way it needs to be spoken. You don't have to be, because the bottom line is, we all come from a long line of people having babies that ain't necessarily with the people that they have babies with, but they were taken care of.
Right.
They were taken care of. Somehow we lost that. Somehow, but then again, somehow we also lost our sense of community.
Correct.
What does the community mean? What is the community? Just my opinion. I know that's it. I'm going back to work.
All right, log off. Listen, Apostle Ray Shipman is also on, and Prophet Cassandra Miles. Thank you for coming on. Now let me just hear it again. I guess I'm looking at it different from, I guess, most women, millennial women or modern day women want my sons to marry my son, because I empowered my sons to way to think and a way to run their own. They both college graduates, both have wonderful careers, both have their own money, and I believe I told my son he is the head of his home, and he's, at the end of the day, he speaks for his home, and consequently, I believe more in role play. That's just the foundation I believe in. I believe in equality in marriage, but I believe there's roles. I believe scripture. I believe when Adam sinned, he comes in the coolness of the day and say, Adam, where art thou? So that's a prophetic symbolism to God is going to hold us accountable as men to our home. And I think we want to blend that. I think we want to blend roles, and I think we want to dismantle roles. I think we want to just be one big free party. Everything is equal. Mm-hmm. God didn't even make us physical the same way. We're not even wired the same way. So I think the people cringe. I think people cringe when we talk about roles. I don't expect my child, even though he's maybe, but when he was 15, 16, to work at McDonald's and take care of our home. That's not his responsibility.
Yeah.
As a child. It's his responsibility to teach him responsibility, but it's not his responsibility to take care of it. So you all chime in on the role. Should we have roles? Should men have roles in the home, and should women have roles? Or should this be
I absolutely believe that. Thank you, Bishop. Do y'all know, some of y'all don't really know the Bishop. He's very powerful, very strong, very opinionated, very prophetic. But I think that there are roles in relationships, and then we also have cultural gender roles that we have established. I agree with you. The man is the head of the household. And according to scripture, we are supposed to be the forerunners and the leaders of our family. As culture continues to shift, there does seem to be a blending in that. Here is where the problem comes in at. If I am considered to be the head of the household, that does not mean that I am the only voice. the Bible says that the two shall become one. And so we work together. If we continue reading in scripture, the Bible lets us know that she's supposed to submit to her husband. But if we keep reading, the Bible also says that we're supposed to submit to one another. What does that mean, though? My wife is very good with numbers, very good with numbers. And so I'll say, well, this, that, and the other thing needs to be paid with this and that. She'll be like, okay, this is what we need, and this is how we're going to do it. Not a problem. Now, I'm great with spending money. She's great with saving. So she will spend $300 on a pair of shoes. I'll spend $300 on 8 pairs of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to spend it. And so those are our strengths and our weaknesses. And because we work together like a corporation, balancing one another. The problem, though, is in any corporation, you still need a CEO. Right. You need an executive director. And I think it's very interesting, especially as our culture continues to blend and try to put the Bible in somewhere, that the man is the lead and the head until she doesn't agree. If he needs to protect the house, where was he at? But if he says, no, we're not doing that, you don't tell me what to do, you can't have it both ways. So there are definitely, biblically, the Bible says that, and I quoted this on his post, the Bible says that it is the wise woman that builds the house, and a foolish one plucks it down with her hands. And so we have to understand the power. I think that I don't want to say our predecessors have created an image that is negative when it comes to submission, when it comes to the power of woman and being in control of the household. I agree with you that women aren't the only nurturers. We need men to be nurturers too. We just nurture a different way. Our ability to nurture, our ability to teach just comes a different way. Does that mean that I should not hug my son? My father is still alive. He's still here with us. And if I wanted to go and sit on the floor or sit on my dad's lap, he'll still hug me. He'll still kiss me on my forehead. But those are just things. Now, some people be like, what? I still call my daddy daddy. He will be daddy until the day he dies. And then once he dies, he will still be my daddy. That's it. But that's what's been nurtured in us. And some people are now trying to find replacements. Bishop mentioned it wouldn't make sense for his son working at McDonald's to come back home and take care of the house. But this is what we keep seeing. We keep seeing because this man has been abused, has been rejected, hasn't been nurtured into being a man. He doesn't have to be a man. And so now this woman who has a child is now using this child as a man replacement. So he is now the man of the house. He has to protect his mama. He has to make sure she's provided for, but he's a child. That's not his role.
No.
Somebody needs to be able to teach him how to be a man, not how to be a man.
And if I can just say, as a woman, I don't care who agrees or not, a mother is never going to be both. You're not mother and father. No, you're not. You mama. Period. Hard stop. You and same way that dad can't be a mother. You're not going to be. So when I hear people say, and I was raised by a single parent, I was mother and father. No, you weren't. You were mom and you were the sole provider and you did the best that you could, but you could not be that boy's daddy. You cannot be that girl's daddy. That's not what you can do. And women don't do their children any favors by putting on them the burden of being an adult when they are children. He's my little man. No, he's not. Oh, she's a little woman. No, she's not. She's a young girl. And we get upset when we have the adultification of children, where children have to go out here now because of the economy, because of economic standards. You go out here and you got to go work and bring that money in because your mama said you got to contribute to this house, so you got to get out. I got problems with that. For my sisters, I have problems with that. For my brothers who say, well, if he gonna be here, everybody who live here got to contribute. Bruh, no, go get you another job, 2 or 3, and provide for your house. Don't put that on your son, because what we can't see is down the road what you are creating. Each and every one of us who are parents, you are raising perhaps somebody's future husband, somebody's future wife. Now, I say perhaps because everybody's not going to get married. That's the reality of it. And I think when they look at some of our marriages, when they look at some of the grandparents, They're like, nah, I'm gonna tap out on that. I don't want that. They really
Okay,
do.
now right there, stop right there. Why? Cassandra Webb. So my grandparents were married 60 years. My great grandfather's married 58 years. I'm married 27, 34. Why are we frowning upon what's been successful? Why are we frowning upon being a homemaker? I'm just saying, this mindset, we don't think that's relevant. We don't glamorize it. We make it look like it's a slave trade. We make it look like it's a nasty thing. But actually, a full-time mother, or one that is nurturing her children full-time, specifically the first 5 years of that child's life, is very critical. It's very vital. So, Pastor Cassandra, we not at church. Cassandra, please tell me, why do we look down as being a homemaker as a just, you're a homemaker, girl, you ain't about your business?
I just think it's how society views things. I think it's sometimes cultural, and sometimes women or men have not just seen a good role model of marriages. And we're in a day where the women want to be independent, wants to be the boss chick. I can do it by myself. If you ain't got that money, don't, holler at me. It's numerous things. But I want to speak for the mature 50 and older women. We want a man that wants to be the head of the house, that wants to be in charge. And I also believe in role play. Now, I'm in school currently. I'm single.
Wait a minute. Can you clarify that? Role play and roles are two different things.
So what I mean by that, I think the man should take out the garbage. Now, I'm not saying that.
Okay, let's start right there. Do we, all the panel, do we agree if the garbage is there, who should take it out? If Kim is taking out garbage, I feel bad.
But I'm not saying that I'm not exempt from doing that. I'm not exempt from doing that.
I don't want my wife to take out the garbage. I don't like taking out the garbage. So I have
we'll look frowned upon for that. We look frowned upon for that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want her to take out the garbage.
Both of us, yeah. I don't want her to take out the garbage either, but I'm telling you, everything that we ever knew, the way we feel is being challenged.
Well, that's fine, but how about you had your father in your house, didn't you?
I'm agreeing with you.
No, I'm saying you had your father though, didn't you?
Right. But the way we thinking is out they don't look at it like that.
I think it's a have to do. I think it's a have to do versus a want to do, and then how that's perceived. And I think we have to be very careful because it goes over into other areas. For example, if we look at the world of math and science, we're still very low in terms of women in math and science. Less than 3% of all women are in the computer science industry. Less than 5% of all women are in the math field. You'd be very hard pressed to go through college and have a professor who is a female. You will see that, but you really don't understand how rare it is. I don't think people really understand that even in medicine, when we have Black doctors make up less than 5% of the population of medical professionals. And of that 5%, only 2% are female. What am I saying there? When we talk about roles and we're so dogmatic about it, we push out what is possible for someone to do. And so, when we try to measure that against the Bible, right, that God is not a respecter of persons. So he's not a respecter of persons, but I can't do math. This girl can't be in construction. She can't be good at engineering because that's something manly. I think we have to watch it. And those are things that are being said. And all we have to do is look at the fruit. That's what I'll tell you.
So it's just like the manipulatives that the children use in kindergarten. They said boys should be able to play with dolls it enhances their certain sides of the chromosome, and girls should be able to play soccer and football. But do you actually think women are, just say this, as we're athletes, most of us, do you think women bodies are built for football?
I don't want my daughter playing football. My 10-year-old.
Why? You want your son playing?
Here's the thing, because I know the reality. Listen, I'm gonna be. You
I
want it
know
real?
some women who built like football players.
Listen, I like football. Do I think that girls could get out there, women can get out there and do it? Yes. I don't want to see. They used to have that.
Oh, look at that! See, look at that. That's nice.
Oh, they used to have that episode. You got jacked up. I don't want to see any 125-pound woman getting slammed to the ground by some 340-pound man.
Equity.
Well, no, it's not equity, because equity is giving each person what they need. Equality is treating us both the same. And so I think that that's the biggest issue.
Okay,
we talk about equality, and really it should be equity.
If we're trying to make everything equal, if I train my son to be a great football player, why can't I train my daughter?
I think your daughter can be. I think your daughter can be. I think it's the position role that they play. Could she get out there and be a hell of a punter? Absolutely. Should she be on that O-line? Probably not. Probably not.
Why?
Because I don't think now some of these young ladies.
Y'all think y'all want it both ways. Y'all want.
I don't know that it's a both ways. What I do think is that I think it's an opportunity. And now let's flip the script. If we want to talk about it, most people who are in fashion, most of the fashion houses are ran by men.
Yes.
Most of the fashion houses in this country are ran by men. Designing clothes for who? Women. So when we look at it, there are men who run a lot of things in this country. And what women are saying is the pendulum swinging back and saying, I just want to have an opportunity that if I want to do this, it's available to me. But to your point about the physicality, I don't agree there.
Let me clarify the 60-second video. The video says, it didn't say you have to be able to cook to get a marriage. I'm not that myopic. It didn't say you have, but I'm saying if you're going to get into a marriage, women particularly, I believe that you need to learn how to cook. Number one, not just for your husband.
Why?
Because your children have to eat.
Okay, so what you're saying, here's the interpretation, Bishop. The children not.
You don't have to get no interpretation. I'm gonna tell you straight.
The children not gonna eat. The children not gonna eat if mama don't know how to cook because daddy sure not gonna do it. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not. No. What is happening here is what we do, and this is what we do, is what we hear something, and then we begin to internalize it, and then we begin to defend what we think is being said and heard. Not one time did he say, Mother, you go ahead and cook. That does not mean that daddy don't know how to cook.
Right.
It means, Mother, cook. Or
see, I didn't interpret that way either. I didn't take it that
way either. You know why? Because I know how to cook and I work.
Right.
She knows how to cook and she works. So it didn't do anything to me. My mom has too.
I prefer him to cook.
She prefers me to cook.
I prefer my husband to cook. But what you said, I'm only going by what you said. And I'm being very dogmatic because people will pick apart anything that they hear. What you said, your conversation was for women. That if you want a husband.
No. My conversation for a 2,000 membership congregation. I said that, but they cut out the man part because I spoke to the women and the sermon
this
was
is
about.
What the problem is. The problem is in our current culture, we will take a portion of something and run with it and try to defend our stance without eating the whole roll. If we are going to be believers, we have to believe and eat the whole roll. It does not eliminate your opinion or your ideology. It just means that you have one. Doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, but what it does say is that I'm too immature to listen to the whole thing, and I would rather argue about 30 seconds.
You'd rather say how big I am, but I got paid for being big all my life.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with it. Yeah, that's
I'm
rude.
Big Papa. Anybody know I'm Big Man? That's it. But so Sean and Cassandra, you all are saying that now Lady May right now is earning her PhD. She cooks once or twice a week. We just ain't even in cooking mode right now. We just do what we want to do right now. But my point is, now I wanted y'all to hear this real good. I'm not saying women have to. They don't have to these days. Common sense know everybody have to cook. And we everybody know it. But you all are telling me that you don't think it'd be wise enough for a woman, Cassandra, you're 50, just celebrated 50, Sean, we all the same age, to learn to how to manage her home and manage her children. Let me just say this, and I know you probably think any woman that has lost control of her home or man, the home is chaotic. You don't want to know who the 11-year-old shooters are in Grand Rapids, Cassandra? There are women who have lost control and men of their home.
Mhm.
It's not gangs. It's people who have lost control of their home, and usually the woman is her role in that. I got a responsibility for my kids that we play, but then there's certain roles Kenya has a responsibility. And I want to go back to what you said again. I absolutely believe yes, and I study and I love the instincts and the procedures of Wild Kingdom. If you look at the animal world, it is the female who nurtures her cubs, who nurtures everything. The big kill, comes from the lion. But you have to understand, women are. I would just bet my dollar on this. This is why I'm going to tell you this, and people might just shoot me for this, but I'm going to shoot back. I think women can be better pastors than most men because our tolerance level,
Careful,
our maturity level.
And they probably, but it's not it's not even a comparison thing. Because let's go back to nature.
I would rather follow
right?
a single woman than a single man.
But let's go back to nature. When we look at the lions, it's not the male lion that makes the kill. It's the women. It's the female lion.
Yes.
They gang up and come in. And what does the man do? He comes and he eats first, right? Submission. And he'll eat all he can hold, and then they eat. So
let's start right there. Let's start right there. That's what it looks like. But let me back up. What you didn't see is the man pissed on that tree. Acres of what? You know him pissing on the tree symbolizes, don't come around here because this is my home and I'm going to protect it. And if you cross that tree, you hyena, I'm going to put your head up.
Yeah. But who's tearing the head up? Those lionesses are coming and tearing up that head.
I'm protecting them to be able to do what they do. It looks like he's not doing anything. But when he urines on that tree and he scratches and he makes his call, you better not come around because if you do, I'm going to dismantle you. So it looks as though he's not doing anything, but yet he's playing his role.
Yeah.
Women today, and y'all educated women on here, I got y'all that didn't agree with me because a good show is somebody that don't agree with you. But women on here today I believe this is me, y'all get back, I'm y'all brother now. Women don't want to be told what to do. Women women do not want you to.
I don't think you can make generic statements like that though.
Most women, 45 and under, do not want to.
But here it is. I want you to hear what you're saying. When you're talking about you're telling someone what to do, in some regards, it's as if you're treating someone as a child. And I believe that most men and women, you don't want to be treated as a child. You want to be included in the conversation. You can't say that you married me for my intelligence, but then you don't consult me about some things. I think that doesn't
you got to consult. I'm not talking about, let me break it down.
Well, I don't necessarily, I'm okay with being told what to do, and I don't feel like a child. But one of the things that I do think that I kind of like, I've heard, and I just happen to come in, even when we were talking about, when you mentioned you didn't want your daughter though playing football. So there is a difference because we're talking about being equal. We aren't equal. We are not. We can talk about it all day long. And I don't necessarily think that we should be. I was saying to him, my son is smaller in stature, but he was a football player. He also ran track. He played basketball. And him being smaller actually allowed him to do a lot more. But then there were those that were bigger. My daughter, I would not stop from playing basketball if that's what she wanted to do. I would make sure she was conditioned to do it. I think the problem, though, comes in is because we're trying to go toe to toe when if I'm living according to the word, then I wouldn't even be trying to do that anyway. And I don't mean from this aspect of not speaking or all of that craziness. I'm just saying in honor, and I honor my husband. That's my responsibility. His is to love me as Christ loved the church. I'm not trying to be equal though.
Yeah, I think one of the issues here that we see with this particular generation that perhaps we didn't with ours is everybody is not beholden to the Bible as the inerrant, infallible word of God.
Oh, y'all ain't living nothing according to the Bible.
So we don't allow people to have questions, right? We don't have questions because right off the bat, if you're not doing it, you're a heretic, you're a heathen, you're out of here. We can't even talk to you. And there's some that do that, and that turns off. And so now you're not reaching the very people that you say you want to reach. Even when we're talking about roles and we're talking about submission and head of household. Right. I'm going to submit to my own husband. That's what the word says. I'm not submitting, no joking that I'm not married to, but that's how people are living. And that to me is the biggest issue because you playing husband and wife, but you're really not. So I don't have an allegiance.
Part of the issue, though, has been the miseducation on, like, because you mentioned about what the older people used to do, the older generation used to do, according to the Bible. That twisting of even the word submission was do what I say, do what I tell you to do, and shut up and get in that kitchen. That's what the word submission means. That word submission is detailed to be like a military word, so that the corporal knows how to submit to the sergeant, because I respect and honor your position, and I know your job is to protect me. I'm going to follow the order that you give because I know it's the best idea, not just me, but for our company. That's what submission is. And so we have taken the word submission and turned it into just oppression. And that's not what it was. And I part of that, again, some of the indoctrination. But I watch my parents, even Bishop May, I watch how him and his wife deal on social media. I love watching people be able to celebrate their spouse and be able to honor them. And because if y'all follow us, you'll see when we are being lovey-dovey, we are lovey-dovey. When we get mad, we get mad. And we don't mind if it's social media. We don't mind if it's in private. Look, this is what it is, and this is how I feel. And
all right, come on, bring Miss Jackson around there. But this is the problem I have. I don't even want to name, because sometimes people, on certain platforms, you're going to get certain results. On the platform we was on, you're going to get negative results, because you got a lot of single women, ain't married, are mad at the world. I mean, it's just true. That means that I know, Sean, you love the platform.
But no, because I was gonna say the generalizations. You don't know that unless
I research.
Okay, so you researched Larry's demographic.
Every person that made a comment that was crazy, I went and looked at.
Okay.
I looked at, and 98% of them were.
And they had at least one kid.
Right.
They was up.
It wasn't from married women.
But what I'm saying is those are some of the people commenting, and I think we have to be careful.
We can't have an intellectual comment or conversation without speaking from our pain, or speaking from our emotions, or speaking from a bad place or experience.
Well, people do that. I mean, that's psychology. Every single person is going to speak from their schema, their frame of reference, and that's going to differ. And so you can't speak about a two-parent household if you didn't come from one. Now, you might be creative,
but I'm not going to deem it wrong. See, here it is.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
This is what I'm just saying. Even like when you talk about homosexuality, I don't care who sleep with you. I really don't. Because I got a couple of friends I grew up. That's your decision. But when you try to deem wrong right, that's all I'm trying to say. That's wrong. So all I'm saying is, I'm gonna go back to my statement again. That feuded on that. Andrea, you can step in. I'm gonna say, if you plan to get married, and this is what I said, I would advise you to learn how to cook. And when I said that, all y'all heard is a woman's job is bigger than the spouse. Blah, blah, blah. If you have children, what they gonna do? Eat Pop-Tarts and McDonald's? Come on.
I don't know. Like I single woman here, almost 42. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. That's what I said on your post.
But that alone is not gonna get a man. So
absolutely not, because if those two things were the key, I would have been had one.
You would have been set.
But you know what? But watch this. This is the economy. I'm gonna let you chime in this. It may not help you get a man, but it sure won't help you run him away. But if you don't cook, now you shaking your head. You ain't no man. I'm trying to.
But you know what?
It's equivalent to say this that we need to have a job. It's equivalent. If he a bum, even though most women will date a bum, but if he go ahead, sis. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say no. We will not. Well, I mean, I'm not like
I know
all the time, but like most women who I know, we're not like some of these other chicks. Like we're not materialistic. Like
because you're
I only speak for my circle of friends and myself. Like most of us grew up in 2-parent households. Right. Like I had a good example of what godly marriage is supposed
Give
to
me
look
more.
like from my parents down to my brothers, down to other
I love you so
men
much,
in my
sister.
family, right? So I'm not
It's all right.
out here, thinking that I'm not going to have to take care of the home. I'm
sorry.
not thinking that I'm not going to have to cook. But what I saw, both of my parents worked. Both of my parents helped out. Now, from the eyes of a child
Yeah.
back then, like I would see my father helping my mom with certain things around the house. There were certain things that I never saw my mother do. And still to this day, like I don't see her do it. And so I think that, like I said on your post earlier, I think the issue is for some women, because I don't know if everybody saw that post, so I'm just going to repeat it for a second for the sake of conversation, that there is, generally speaking, a lot of men who have so much to say, and it doesn't matter if you're married or you're single. There are a lot of men who they take their time to tell women what we should be doing, and the same conversation seemingly is not happening with single men and what they should be doing.
What's happening? Y'all just don't pay attention to it. It's happening. Y'all just
Where is it
y'all-
happening? Where is it happening? It's
It
not
happens all the
happening
time in
nearly.
my church.
It happened in his shirt. You gonna go look
All
at
the
his
time.
lives. You gonna look at my lives. You gonna look at my feed. We always talk about what men should
By
do.
and large, what women hear from men is what they should be doing. Let's look at the popularity of Kevin Samuels. You can run down every woman, tell women that they're gonna die alone, and it's exactly what you did. You died alone, bro. You ain't had nobody.
Wait a minute. I don't
Can't blame Kevin.
Samuels. Y'all the one called.
Yeah, I would have
Hello?
never. And these
Hello?
are women who didn't have friends. You're right. You're right. You're right.
No, but here's where the issue comes in at. Part of the reason, y'all gonna be mad, but part of the reason why you do not hear any of these teachings towards the men is because it's a man talking. Quite often, you have been indoctrinated that when a man starts telling you this is what a man needs, it then turns into, you can't tell me what you need. Yes, ma'am, I'm telling you what we need. But you're going to tell us, no, that ain't what I'm telling you. The masses of men would prefer. You know why they would prefer it? Because their mother cooked. And
That's
every
all I
man
said.
is going to fall in love with his mother.
But that's not what we're saying. That's not
That's not what you
all
say.
I
like the
said
issue is
before
not you saying you should know how to cook. The issue is, again, like, and I hear y'all, I understand it, but I also need to overstate the fact that, and I said on the post, like, I don't know that the same message would be received even if it was coming from a woman. I think that, like, I'm sorry, I don't know either of your names, but the young lady above
Sean.
me right there.
Sure.
Yeah. That in and by large, like, if y'all are if these conversations are in fact happening, and I'm not doubting that, but what I am saying is that
Y'all really wait.
not.
Wait, I gotta stop this. Wait.
They don't watch our
Y'all
lives.
really believe we don't teach men nothing?
No, I'm not saying that,
Yeah, no.
but it's not as it seemingly is not as publicized as all of the
That's the point.
relationships
That's
of that
Now
we
let me
see
back this
out
up.
here
I'm gonna
being
get to the
posted.
prophetess. I wouldn't even marry a young man as of recently if he wasn't working.
Yeah.
I
And
told the
maybe
fiance, don't marry him. He's
Yep.
not ready to be married. She right there acting. And I told him he's not qualified to be married. That
So-
didn't go viral.
We
it
have
Adrian?
had
Yes, ma'am.
teachings. We have had teachings on live. I have talked from jobs. I have talked about men. You need to know where the clitoris is. You need to know how to stimulate her. Yes.
Well, why?
Let me finish.
what church?
I have-
What's the church? No, go ahead.
I've used props. I've used a dildo. I've shown you exactly where to go, how to do it. I've talked to you about maintaining your house. And this is not just on live. I talk about this stuff at my church. My background is I'm a social worker.
Yeah.
And so these are conversations I need to be able to have in my church in order to make sure that you're not just so spiritual, speaking in tongues, that you can't take care of your house. And so on larger masses, I challenge the ideology that says, oh, all I got to do is show up or go to work. We're talking to these men about being fathers, not being a paycheck. So we're really doing the work.
And I think what some of it could be, as you were speaking, Pastor Shipman, is it is about demographics. When people get on Clubhouse, when people get on Facebook, who's there by and large? Women. So what are you going to do? You're talking to women. Now, that doesn't negate the fact that maybe men are not hanging out on social media and listening to other men. I don't know. But as Adrian said, it does appear that by and large, when people get on social media, they are lambasting Black women, especially about who we should be, what we should be doing, what we're not doing. You need to be in shape. Don't tell me I need to be in shape and I'm looking at you, bro, looking like a 3-liter. Don't do it. Don't do it. But the standard,
is, we will see women who are a number 2, size 2, 38, like giving everything, who will be with a man who looks like a jugs drink.
Yeah. And it goes both ways. It goes both ways. I just think that with women and the way that society is going, Black women are definitely getting a bad rap. We are.
Okay, let me right there. Stop. Let me just stop you right there. It's about to come. Why are y'all so mad at us?
Don't put me in that.
I'm
not
Don't
mad
shoot
at
me.
any
Ask
man.
her we mad.
Wait a minute.
I love y'all.
The last week I've discovered Black women is mad at Black men.
I don't know.
No, they mad.
They mad at their daddy though.
I don't think that it's the majority of Black women.
They mad at their daddy. I'm gonna ask Lady May to make the same comment that I made. Ladies, before you get married, going to marriage, you should consider learning how to cook.
But you know what? Stop right there, because women will listen. And what you just said now is not at all what you said when you were in church. You didn't say you want to consider getting married. That's not what you said.
No.
So
what I said is, if you go get married, and I'm gonna say what I said, and I ain't gonna backtrack. I'm gonna say what I said. If you, before you get married, you need to learn how to cook. First of all, I said this. I said, women, it was talking about preparation. Getting before you get married, a man is not concerned with your BBL. That's what I said. I said, here you learning how to cook and doing the nurturing thing will turn them on more than your fake breasts, fake hair, fake everything else. That's what I said. Then I said, Grandma taught us how to keep them. And that's what I said. And I just said,
but here it is. Yeah. I hear exactly what you said, and I'm telling you, as a woman, connecting some of those dots. As a man or a woman is talking, we are processing some. I'm not going to try to speak for everyone. And the connection there, the inference was that if you know how to cook, his feet won't be up under somebody else's table. That's a whole lie from the pit of hell.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. Go back and look at what you said.
I said this. If I need to pull this up right now. I said, if you don't cook, he will eat at somebody else's.
But here's the thing of it, which
See,
infers that the reverse
you
is true. Would you agree with that?
Let me break it down to you.
No,
you argue with a man that ate at another table.
You're saying that if you do,
listen to what I'm saying. Y'all don't even. That's what Apostle was saying. Y'all won't even listen to. If you always say, Pastor man, you probably need to back off, leave King alone during her menstrual cycles. I was like, that's my wife. I don't hear. You know things about a woman that I don't know. I'm coming from a man's perspective. I'm not coming as a ruler to tell you what you have to do.
Pastor, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you
we always talk about cheaters in the church and cheaters and men and women. Do you know the average cheater, whoever cheats, is neglected? Sometimes we manufacture cheaters.
That's true.
That's a whole other show that you probably need to get some women in the church, former first ladies, who are going to tell you that they were doing everything, that they were cooking, cleaning, sexing 24/7, and still
but they had a bad attitude. But they had a bad attitude.
No, that's not true. That's not true, because there are several that I know who had the best attitudes, and they
had the best attitude with you, not necessarily with their husband.
I got my hand up. I got my hand up.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. This is not my show.
What I want to say is, and my bishop, he's my pastor, he can tell you, if I do not agree with him, I will have a respectable conversation with him in private. But I want to say, from what I saw from that clip, I took heed, I'm taking notes, and I'm going to make sure I can cook.
Are we really like everybody? I would assume that everybody is over 35 or the weight, right? So we know how to cook. Now, my other question was going to be, Bishop, like, what was this demographic of women who you were talking to? Because again, I was not offended.
I was not offended either. I was not offended.
This is one of your bougie churches. This is the most influential churches in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Okay. This is not no downtrodden. I don't even think people on welfare there. That's how bougie. I mean, No, I'm serious. This is this is really a lot of millionaires in the church, and the books all sold out. Y'all need to get the books too. The Courtside Conversation. All the books sold out. Everything, because no one is teaching values anymore. This is what we are. Y'all know this. Come on. The cosmetology. What is it? Cosmetic surgeries. The BBLs. Black women, y'all didn't need that. Y'all was born with big lips and big hips. Now all of a sudden, your focus is wrong. And so that's why I was trying to bring you back into focus of saying it's not about the BBLs. It's not about the surgery. Look at Serena Williams. She done messed up her lips. But, it's not about that. The focus is on the basic things that really, do you know what really wins women over that I've talked to? Learning to listen, conversation. Only little girls get excited about, oh, he bought me this and bought me. Real women is not pleased because they can buy it themselves. But when you can pay attention to her needs, you can hear her and respond to it.
Yes.
That's what makes sense. But so if I tell people that in church, oh, that day is out, you can't do that. No, because if you don't listen to her, do you know how cheaters are manufactured with men? When a man wants to be a listening ear, it develops a relationship. That's why my sister talk about this new colloquial term y'all got, work husband. What is a work husband?
I hate that.
I hate that. I've never subscribed to a work
I hate it.
ever.
Y'all confide in each other. You talk to each other.
Which is still wrong.
You trust each other, and you're manufacturing a cheater.
And you are, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because there are many people who have that, and you are creating emotional bonds that you should not. If you feel like you need to be able to talk about how your day is or what have you, and you can't talk to your spouse about that, you need to let them know that I'm at work and I'm talking to Adrienne, and she listened to me for 2 or 3 hours. Hold up,
yes.
Wait a minute now.
First of all, no.
Don't use your name.
But no, like I have never subscribed to that, and I've never been married.
Yeah.
I've been in relationships, but I don't play that on either end. Like if I know that a man is involved with someone, like we're not going out to lunch. Well, I work for myself now, so that's whatever. But like, no, like we're not spending time. Like you want to go to lunch? Who else going? Y'all going? Y'all going to? Okay, cool. But don't talk to me about your issues that you're having with, especially if he's married. Like if he's married, like I'm definitely not getting involved with that. But if it's someone who I know, like I have a few close male or guy friends, right? So they can call me and I'll be like, y'all just need to talk. Normally my advice to folk who are in relationships and or married, when some of them do come to me, whether it's male or female, is go talk to your woman or go talk to your dude, because y'all gonna have to work that out. I don't have nothing to do with that.
And married men and married women shouldn't be giving each other advice under the guise of counseling. Go get you a professional. Go get you a professional. I'm not getting Bishop's box. I'm like, oh, can you tell me how to be a better wife? Because my husband, let me tell you, that's inappropriate. It's inappropriate, and you're asking for trouble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Cassandra, what did you say?
I was just going to testify to what you were saying. I have 2 sons, but my particular son that I'm going to be talking about, he's, I think, 32, and he always acts and looks forward to me cooking for him. And now he's dating. And the first thing he says was, Mom, she cooks for me every day.
See, she messing it up. And this is my question, right? Because I mean, it's not really a question. This is not the reason why I'm single. So let me just go ahead and put that out there, right? But I was going to touch on this, and I did say something about it earlier on the post. Like there are men who out the gate, and I'm talking about day one, no lie, like they want you to do all the things, including cooking. Now, as it is for me, like I happen to I cook. Bishop, you can ask Dante, he'll tell you, like he'll vouch for the kid, okay? But like I cook, I have a baking business, so it's never a thing of will you or whatever, because I'm always cooking, I'm always baking. But for somebody who is not even my man, to expect that, I'm not gonna say I have a problem with it, but like I'm just like, why are you like you haven't put in any work? I had to do the other week. That was matter of fact over the weekend. Like he was like, hey, I'm a doctor. Here's my phone number, and then I called him, and then he was like, well, you may want to text. but you want me to come over, you want me to spend time with you, and you're a stranger. Like, these are the type of dudes that exist out here. And
but there are women who ask men to help them with their bills too.
And I was going to say,
and that's crazy too.
And it's men are out here, some looking for the mamas, right? And that's not how you go into a relationship. Can she cook? Can she clean? And women looking for somebody to take care of you. Take care of yourself.
Sorry, no. That's got to be a prerequisite. Because if she can't clean, she's nasty. That has to be.
Listen, everybody has to know.
You out of the game. You're checkmark. You're done. You passed the baton. You're done. You're out of the game. Those two, believe it or not, there's about to be another. See, I know I'm borderline misogyny. I practice borderline misogyny according to the culture, but I'm in the will of God. I know my wife tells me that all the time. I'm just old school. I just believe my grandfather was 100 years old. My other was 80. I'm from.
But would you stipulate that some of that old school was just plain out wrong? Would you stipulate to that?
Not in my family. It wasn't.
I'm not saying your family. I'm saying some of the things. I can't say everybody. Some of the things that older men did, and I'm going to give you an example.
I was going to ask you an example.
There are many men who feel like as long as they provide, that's me showing love. That's what I do. Providing is not enough. That's baseline.
No.
That's baseline.
But I'm saying every time we say old school marriage, we think of slavery or something bad.
No, I'm not talking about slavery. I'm not going that far.
I'm talking about we think that it's this bad. My grandfather was very affectionate, and he was very loving towards my grandmother and very caring. But what I'm going to tell y'all this, y'all getting ready to be really mad at me. You all can act like you're not in competition, but you.
I know we are.
I'm gonna tell you this. I
know we are.
Single. You all, even according to the scriptures, he says it's gonna be 7 to 1. He was off. It's 25 women to 1 man.
Still,
and they getting BBLs every week.
Still not in competition.
You ain't competition.
No, absolutely not. Because I believe that when you know who you are,
you're married.
Right. Even when I wasn't. And can we just be real? Can you be real? Even with married women, there's the thought that you're in competition with single women. You know why? Because there's some men who don't reverence that relationship, and women the same way. That ring does not mean anything except for to the person who is wearing it.
So you are you in denial to think that you're not in competition?
I'm not in denial. That's one. Two, I don't believe I'm in competition. What God has for you is going to be for you. I don't need to up this woman.
I gotta help you out.
I don't need to up Adrian. I don't need to outcook her to get somebody.
I got to get that uproot. You got a lot of Kojic in your mind. Let me uproot that in mind. Let me just say, what God has for you is not for you. What God has for you can be stolen. What God has for you can have a sad memory of a lost opportunity. We have chance and choices for everything. You can make the wrong choice. You're born looking like your parents. You die looking at your decision. God can have something for you, and you get out of the will of God and you can miss your moment and have a sad memory of a lost opportunity.
And I'm still go back. All that you said still doesn't mean that somebody's in competition. Are there more women than men? Absolutely.
God has some men for you. No, it's not. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So you are single women. You are in quite denial, single women, to believe you're not in competition.
Can I share another story that the same son shared with me?
Yes.
One night he said, "Mom, you know what your competition is? I was at the bar. This woman went home with this man. On the first night that she met him, he was like, that is your competition."
Not really, because that woman will only be your competition if you were in the same set bar as her, and if you wanted to go home with him and he chose her. Like, that's maybe indirectly, but not directly.
Well, the way that I interpreted was, here I'm keeping myself when you got other women throwing themselves. They're giving it up. They're with no standards, no stipulations. That's how I interpret it.
And to those women, I say, give it up, girl. And you know what? Those same women, some of them, because I don't like to generalize, some of those same women are the same ones who are walking around here bitter. They mad because he wouldn't commit to her. He wouldn't do for her. Like, he smashed. And that's all that he wanted. So I hope you were happy and enjoyed that moment. But now you out here mad. The ones talking about he ain't ish. Ain't no good men out here.
Y'all have argued with me.
Discuss.
I'm gonna give you 15 more minutes. Women, most preachers have not been in my shoes in this career or whatever. I've met more people than the average preacher have ever. I'm telling you, there's a certain wiring and a certain mindset that men have that they look for. To have a successful marriage, you don't have to be able to cook like grandma and all that. I'm gonna keep going back to the origin of it. But I'm trying to get why you all look at the 30s, 40s, and 60s marriages as slave, or it has a negative connotation tag to it, when a high percentage of our don't you know we married and we're stronger families and slaves than we are now?
I think you got the wrong women on this panel, because my parents have been married. My parents have been married for 40-something years. They've been together about 50.
Wait a minute, I'm
like,
speaking to Instagram. I'm speaking to other. I'm speaking on.
Oh, okay. Hey,
YouTube,
Instagram and y'all.
We on YouTube. We on different.
If that is slavery, I want it. I want some of that. But it's not like, I don't look at, long marriages as that, and I don't know why anyone.
And then let me tell you something. Let me just say this, so y'all think I'm just making up something. Don't be naive that think a woman can't steal your man. You're man can't steal your woman. You're saying he can't steal unless he don't want to. No, just like you said, you got it. When women are, first of all, more wiser than men. I believe that. That's a blanket statement, but I'm sure you won't rebuttal that.
It's facts.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm
Big
saying? Y'all biased. Y'all biased. But yeah, women, most of the time when women cheat and she get caught, she want to get caught. Men cheat different. Women cheat with their emotions, with their affections, but today's women, they just as ruthless as men. So when a man cheats, it doesn't require a lot of emotions and all that. But when women cheat, it's emotional and everything. So it's easy for a man or a woman for their heart to be stolen. Y'all in denial if you think that.
I think if you break down steal is to take something that doesn't legitimately belong to you, right? And I believe that there are situations where these men and women are giving things away. Let me just finish my statement here. Let me finish my statement here.
Not a whoremonger.
You don't have to be a whoremonger. It starts out innocently. It starts out as a work bae, right? Yeah, and that's my work husband. That's my work wife. And now you bringing flowers, and now y'all doing things together. And that affection is growing where it should not go. Did I steal it? No, this joker opened up and gave it to me. That's very different.
Well, there's a lot of things under the blood I want to discuss, but trust me, a man can't steal a woman.
Okay.
Y'all don't believe that. Now y'all got tight lips. Okay, go. Y'all go ahead. Y'all, because y'all highly opinionated, all three of y'all. Go ahead. I'm
trust good.
No, just trust me. Y'all don't believe. I'm a man. Listen, anybody can be vulnerable. Anything can happen in life. Nothing is a guarantee.
Nope.
Well, we know that. We know
that. We in marriages get so comfortable, like, not my wife. Why not?
Right. Anybody.
I think that people put themselves in situations, and that is
now you go back to what I'm saying. Come on.
Yeah, like it's.
So stop right there, sis. Stop. That's my point. My point.
Then too, you only give in to what you want to give in.
Right.
So was it stolen? Right? You gave it away.
Wait a minute. Go back to the.
You only cheat if you want to cheat.
What did you say? What did you just say, Adrian? What did you just say?
People put themselves in situations, and if you're willing to put yourself in that situation, like, it could go either way. Like, and we've seen it in real life, some of us, and we've seen it in movies. Like, it is the choice of, I got this over here, but this right here in my face. And I do believe that if there is an inkling of
I have a case before me.
Home,
so tell me
choices and decisions.
I'm full of ambition. I'm full of goals. I'm full of tenacity. And my dreams takes me to an ecstasy that cannot be measured. I love life. I got money. And here it is. Sister Tojak is willing to say, I believe in you. Can push it. Or can do it. This can happen. Let's pray about it. Believe it. Okay. You come home. All right. Men don't trust everybody, but one thing he does trace is woman and his mama. You come home and say that same dream to the person you love, your wife or whatever, and she said, how are we going to do that? We barely can pay the bills now. I don't believe you're going to do it. Get that out of my face. All negative. What are you doing to the man?
Tearing them down.
You tearing them down. Now she's building them up. Now, he's grabbing, she's slowly, now I know y'all don't believe this, because this is why when people fall into relationships and have infidelity. First of all, infidelity is wrong. Okay, I'm gonna say that. But then I can, on the other hand,
Don't
I
say
can say
but.
what is.
That's it. Don't say but. But negates everything you said.
No, I got to say but because
Okay.
in Western culture, infidelity is wrong. Infidelity is not wrong in Eastern culture because infidelity in Eastern culture means it's your wife. All right.
Okay.
So it's culturally. In Western culture, it's wrong according to you shouldn't really do that what you don't want done to you, period. But what I'm saying, everybody that get in an affair, this is why I don't put my mouth on a lot of people, because everybody that gets into an affair is not a homemonger and she's not a slut. You never know the neglect that is taking place, or the verbal or sexual abuse or physical abuse that one is enduring to cause her. Right now, when you all get vulnerable, the worst thing you can do when you're vulnerable is meet the wrong guy. Meet the right wrong guy. It's a dichotomy. The worst thing you can do, here you is again, Bishop Man, you telling women what they do. Yep. The worst thing you can do when you're vulnerable is meet Zaddy.
On both sides.
On both sides.
On both sides. But
On
but
both
you
sides.
said something that I think bears digging down a little bit, because that same man who's sharing his hopes and dreams and whatever with that wife, and you're at work and you don't have the pressures of a home with her. You don't have the pressures of keeping kids with her. It's easy for her to tell you what she's going to do. And yet when you go home, hold on, can I finish?
No, I'll let you talk longer than me.
Okay, go ahead, Dan.
Why is everything a pressure? Every time you say something, and I'm talking to you as my sister, we ain't talking as a bishop.
No, I'm saying just family. So you don't think that having a family at times that there can be pressure in that family? I'm talking about just the pressure to make the bills, pressure to make sure that the kids go to school, that they are doing what they. Okay. There are many families who experience pressure, whether it's.
We experience it, but we ain't got it right now.
Okay, so you did experience the pressure. So then why are you pulling me up on it when you know you had pressure too?
Everything I tell y'all is because it's by experience.
Okay, so your children are at a different place, so you don't have that pressure.
When Kenya and I have pressure, it's important for her to have the character. There, here you go again.
Now
when you have pressure without character, it leads to other avenues.
So when you're talking to sister so-and-so at the office, character, even though my wife at home is not really concerned, character. And then you should also share with your wife, honey, I need you to be excited about what I'm excited about. It seems like you're not excited, et cetera, et cetera. You need to share with your spouse,
And then you all living everything to the church.
You slipping.
Everybody, y'all living everything to the church. This has got to do with powerful men and women all over the world.
I'm just saying that woman is seeing, that woman who's in the household is seeing the reality every day. I'm saying that woman who is in the house is seeing the reality every day. That woman who's your work bag, she ain't seeing none of that. She ain't dealing with none of that, because you know what? You ain't sharing none of that.
I like what she's sharing none of that.
Yeah, you ain't telling work bay all that's going on. I got 50 bills due. I got so and so. You talking about your dreams and your hopes and your aspirations.
You need to have character. Go home and tell your wife, I need you to pay attention. I need you to be excited. I need you to be into what I'm into. Because
do we have to be into the same things even though we're married?
No.
See, now y'all, what you say?
Well, that example that he used, it sounded like that he felt neglected.
Yeah, there's a difference between like being support, and I was thinking as Bishop was talking, like it works both ways, because if I come home, or if when my man comes home, like I'm going to want him to be supportive of, whatever my dreams are, and I have a lot of them. I'm a creative, right?
Now,
so whoever I wind up with, you gonna it's a team, or we're trying to build this team, and if you're not supportive of me or vice versa, we're probably not going to work.
Men, let me talk to y'all. If she leaves you, make it hard for her to leave you. Make it so hard she have to pray 365 days a night.
Okay, so now you're giving the man some tips.
I gotta get some men tips.
Okay, go ahead.
Make it so hard. Men, put her in a position that she don't have to work. And that if she wants to work, she could go to work. So y'all don't know.
Talking good. You talking good.
Walk it heavy. Make it hard for me, homeboy. If you're watching right now, make it hard.
See, they smiling now.
This part won't go viral. Put her in a position that if she say, I want to pursue my PhD, or I want to pursue my boutique, I want to pursue other things, and I'm tired right now. Okay, babe, just take off this season. See, the problem is most of you all go into marriage burdened and weighted down. He's credit bad, your credit bad. He got student loans, you got finance student. Then y'all have 3 babies, then you're on the altar want God to make a way.
Facts.
No, I'm the Bishop of Dubai, so I got a lot of concept in the Eastern culture marriage. They don't marry the woman unless the mother-in-law has to receive a gift over $100,000. The mother.
Maybe I'm in the wrong culture.
Let me tell you something. They don't have infidelity. They don't have all this stuff y'all going through.
Bishop, every culture has infidelity. Let's not say that.
It's not infidelity in their culture because they can have 4 wives.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So you got different positions.
They got their hands full.
They got
their first wife,
full.
second wife,
But
third wife.
What should I say? The bed full.
Baby, that bed is full.
They can't have 4 wives if they can't take care of them. See, let me just back y'all up and let me just back up.
I don't want that.
All you boss women, all you PhD, that don't mean nothing to me. All you women that's going been, that's you saying you skinny and I need to lose weight. Listen, I don't need to lose nothing. I Googled my name. I got paid for being big. Let me just tell you something. My wife don't work. She's getting her PhD. All right? She don't have to work. And I can cook and I clean, and neither one of us have to cook and clean because I have a person to come clean. And then if she don't want to cook, I have chefs. I got access to 2 licensed chefs that can come cook. And then I want to cook. So when I talk big mess, don't just give me a 60-second clip and go off on me, black woman. Read my lifestyle. When you get done talking, say his wife don't work and she drives a Benz and she wears what she want to wear. Drives what she her money is her money. I don't even know how much my wife make. And God knows the truth. She over here. I don't even know how much my wife made when she made because that was, I believe her money was her money and our money was together was our money. So yes, it's
question.
Old school,
Push
but
pause.
yes, at the same time, it works both ways.
Push pause, Bishop.
No,
And I would, I know protocol. I would never normally interrupt the bishop, but okay.
So
all right. So yeah. So, but what I would like to ask you is, when y'all were dating,
I get my own money. I get my own
no, when you and Lady Mae met,
I was really rich.
As a single person, this is my question.
No, when Lady Mae met, I didn't even have a license. I was 14.
Like a driver's license. Oh yeah, that's right. Y'all
so,
be
see,
doing
so when I talk, I'm not just talking like yesterday I got married to somebody.
No, I don't think that, but I will tell you the same thing that I've said to my parents, my mother in particular, all the time. I'm like, you and daddy known each other since y'all, like, they literally grew up together in the same town, right? So people like them, people like you and your wife, like sometimes the opinion of those of you who have been knowing each other since y'all were kids is far different from the dating world right now. Like we don't have that luxury of, knowing someone and getting to know them when they quite literally had nothing.
I'm not gonna let you dumb me down.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna let nobody dumb me down for what I know is worth. People say, "Oh, that's antiquated." It's antiquated. It's 35 years, and you ain't got 35 days. So all them folks on Larry Reid lives, they can't compare to what I do.
Mm-mm.
So that's all I'm saying.
I didn't see the Larry Reid.
When I talk junk, I back it up.
Yeah. But folk don't know you intimately, right? So their opinion is really only off of a 30-second clip.
Your brother Dante, we gonna talk junk.
Right.
We gonna talk junk. So what I'm just saying. No, and let me just say that. Can I put this disclaimer? Today's culture, I'm lost. I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know what I told her she tried to brief me, and me and Cassandra in the group and the family, we got a circle. We probably the only one. Lady Mae don't even agree with us sometimes. We just it's crazy right now. Mm-hmm. And then y'all got these open relationships.
I don't.
Then y'all got these. How old are you?
41.
Okay.
41. Okay. Yeah. That's Dante's
dating?
Sister.
Are you dating?
That's Dante's sister.
Oh, she know my brother?
Yeah.
Lord. Okay. Yes, I'm the baby
so
of the
a lot of things I just say for thought provoking. It's not actually I just believe in.
I am not currently dating. Okay. I guess I am, but not really. Like I said, dude from over the weekend, like he don't get no time for me because you want me, a stranger, to come over to your house. Like, because I was like, okay, so what are we doing? Where are we going? And his response was, I'm not really into that whole like figuring out where we want to go, what we want to do. Like, I'm more. And I was like, well, and then he was like, well, I'm a texter. And I was like, I'm a talker. So have a great weekend. Like, I already know what you want. Like, your MO is the smash. And if I was on that, maybe that would be fine. And then the other side of the coin.
And wait a minute, you're in a dangerous place.
So he was trying to get you to come over to his house.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is she's in a dangerous place. She's in Atlanta.
Oh.
I mean, regardless, like a couple of weeks ago, like I was talking to this guy, and seemingly he really wanted to get to know me until like, but then it was the same thing. And that's why I wrote on your post earlier, like a lot of guys, and you don't know until you like talk to them. Now for me, it doesn't have to be a whole lot of talking, like 1 or 2 conversations, and I can figure you out. And then I'm either gonna roll with you or I'm not. But I'm not under any circumstances going to commit to, in this case, having unprotected sex with you, and you can't even commit to a date. Like, what are we talking about?
Talking on the phone.
Well, and I agree. Let me say this, and I'm gonna let y'all go. It was a blessed night. Camilla, I say you pray. Yeah, we need to pray for this culture. This culture is jacked up. I don't care what nobody said. We messed up, and it's not all the women's fault. We didn't lay the demon responsibility, but the queen has died, and the to get us over here, Britain had a lot to do with it. Now the monarchy has changed, where the king is in place. You will find out those that receive 30 and 25 years prison sentence. This is serious business. The 3 million men, black and brown men, are in prison. It's getting ready to be a mass exodus from the 90s crack law to now. And a lot of men are getting ready to come home. It was just something drugs are good men, and so the question is the church, is our culture going to be ready to receive these men coming home? Men are getting ready to take their rightful place again. And we always talk about where the men are. Well, you got to understand that statistically, systemic racism calls men not to be in the home. And so it calls you to break down the women that have the responsibility to be in the place that, you know, I say a lot of things just to be thought-provoking, but these are facts. It was statistically, every institution has failed us. It's statistically speaking, even the abortion laws, right? The abortion laws have been changed because whites are becoming the minorities. And they understand all of these men are getting ready to come home out of these prison sentences for 20, 30 years, and they don't want to be the minority and the Hispanics or black people be the majority. That's why they're not doing anything about the inner city killing and shootings or what's taking place. So you all just have to hold your peace. Bishop May, you give women instructions? Yes. Don't give it up, because once you give it up, you're going to know if he really likes you or don't. See,
That's
when
right.
you have sex with a man, with a man 1 or 2 times, Bishop May, you telling us again, yes, from a man's perspective, you really don't know how much he care about you until you have sex with him. Because once he has sex with you, understand a man is a hunter, and he goes after what he sees. When he sees you and he wants you, he'll play possum, he'll play save, he'll be a deacon, he'll do whatever. But once he has you, that's how you're gonna know you don't hear from him no more. You're gonna realize you got the Google number and not the real number. And so what do? Make him wait.
Make them wait.
That's your final
issue is they don't want to. I mean, and I'm saying this as someone who I'm fine with them not wanting to, because that helps me to weed them out. Like, that's not a secret. It's not even game. Like, if I was on that, then okay, but I'm not. So I know, like I said, very early on, like my vetting process is that, like, I don't even mention sex. Like, I let them bring it up, and then I tell them I'm not on that, and then that quickly deads whatever hopes and aspirations that they had.
Right.
But to your point earlier, now I'm not in competition with these other women, but there are other women who will be like, yeah, like I want to try it like early on, like I'm grown, like it's 2022.
So
like,
I didn't get your opinion on it. Do you think, okay, other people say I'm not in competition. You may not be in competition with women, but that doesn't mean women not being in competition with you.
Right. So I'm saying in this regard of, like, if there's a choice between me, who is, you know, I'm trying to do it how God instructed us to do it, and then there are women who are like, no, like I'm gonna give up the goods, like, because I want to see, because I don't want to marry somebody and I don't know how it's working. I don't know how he's going to please me. Well, go ahead and go, girl. Like, go ahead and give it to him, because again, these women, some of them, not all, but a large number of them, like, you're giving it up so early that you're not getting to know him. Like, you're getting to know if he's going to please you sexually, but you don't know nothing about his character. You don't like, he don't care about you, and now y'all not rocking
Is
with
he
each
crazy?
other.
And when if a man had 40 women and he sleeps with you unprotected sex and releases unto you, you now have intermingled with those 40 that he slept with. So it is important for you to know that whoever you lie with, you need to be in covenant. That's what we need to be in covenant with them and understand. These guys now really don't want dates because there's so many on the playing field. Now, what Brandon was saying, he wasn't saying for his mother to go out and sleep with somebody.
No.
He was just saying, Mom, that this is the people, the men are, they're not even giving you a chance because they're so busy going after this one. So
because they going home with them. They going home.
She's not in competition, but the other woman is in competition.
Yeah, she thinks it's the competition is a figment of her imagination, because meanwhile we're sitting over here chilling, right? Like, I'm not thirsty for no man. Like, I know people say it's cliche, but for real, like, I know my worth. Like, I've been there and done that. Like, I haven't been saved my whole life, right?
Absolutely.
So I should be, and we should be at ages now where we're like, you know what, like, I'm not fascinated by because you drive a certain type of car or because you make a certain amount of money, like, and it's not tit for tat. And I heard y'all when I was coming on, but I couldn't hear all the way, but I was trying to read lips. Like, I'm not in a competition with the man. And so I've even met some men who they seemingly are trying to be in competition with me. And I'm like, if I'm trying to be with you, like, you the last person I'm trying to.
Can I ask y'all two questions? If you find a man, why can't y'all wait to both? Listen, y'all think you're 43. You're 43 right there. How old are you?
41. Don't you age me.
41.
I will be 42 in December.
Now, if I told Cassandra, you should wait to about 55, 60. She'd be like, no, bitch, man. But think about it.
Yeah, that's too long. I've been waiting long enough.
If you're 55 and 60, you still got 10 to 15, 20 years to enjoy it. See, the problem is you all want to marry a man and fix him up. Y'all are not mechanics.
No, I don't want to fix him up.
Right, but wait.
I want him to come fix. I want him to come fix.
Listen, y'all don't believe this. And the more I'm studying my other counterparts in the Eastern culture, the more I'm really honing into this thing. Because
there are a lot of women who want to fix men for whatever reason.
Yes,
I am one of those women. So I agree. There are some.
I'm saying is, yeah, you're a good guy.
They should have never gave me this mic.
You gotta give me one. I need one.
Yeah, you got. She'll want to get in this conversation so bad. Listen, they're good men, right? So you're 40 years old. I'm just gonna say 40. You're in Atlanta, rent $1,800 a month. You got a car note. You may have student loans, okay? He may have student loans. Now that debt is coming together. Money doesn't make you a happy marriage necessarily, because if that was the case, all the rich people, everybody be married. But a lot of times in our culture, we go into it struggling. He's not in a position to provide for you. Not only provide for you physically, he's not in a position to provide for you mentally or spiritual. We don't talk about the spiritual aspect. Women should not have to always go to their pastors to receive consolation in the spirit. She should be able to go to her husband.
Amen.
And the vice versa. The husband is who covers the wife. The bishop and pastor don't cover the wife. The bishop covers their family and and the man. And the man covers the wife. But we always put emphasis on the preacher and the bishop, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to make sure he's whole spiritually, physically, mentally, and financially. If he's broke and don't have a job, I don't care what kind of sex or game he has. Broke is not going to make it.
Let me tell you something, Bishop.
It's going to be discouraging. I said yesterday, y'all
it.
quote this. Passionate people have no business connected to unpassionate people.
Facts.
Amen.
Because you're going to get discouraged, you're going to get let down, and they're going to steal your joy. I guarantee you.
Yep.
I shared this elsewhere a couple of days ago, and I'm going to share it with y'all.
Man, I'm scared.
Hey, listen, I'm a talker. I can talk about it. I've been through. So look, I've lived a little bit. You know, when the older people used to be like, "You ain't experienced that. Keep on living." I'm 41. I've lived a little bit. I shared with my mother and a couple of other people the other week because we were talking about relationships as we always do. And I said, oh, there was a young man on my Facebook friends who shared that all men should know how to change a tire. And he made a generalization saying, he was like, ladies, if y'all are with a man who don't know how to change a tire, y'all got a girlfriend. Right. So I called my father and I said, Daddy, I said, do you believe that all men should know how to change a tire? And he said, yes, they should. If they own a vehicle, they should know how to maintain it. And then he also added a tie into that. And I shared with my mother, I said, you know what? I said, one time I was messing with this guy. I said, and something happened to the car. I was on 75 down there by Grady going home at night. And the car, like, it stopped accelerating. Right. So I was able to get over into the emergency lane. I called that guy that I was dealing with. And when I hung up, I said, I don't even know why I called him because he can't come up here and do nothing. I said, but you know who I did call and who came? My daddy.
See? Well, first of all, you're going to be different. It's not going to be hard, but you're going to find your dad in the man. So that's what's Ashia's issue too. It's not that you all can't get men. You're going to have to find your dad and your man. And that's going to be challenging because a lot of these men are unfathered.
I used to not want that. I used to be really afraid of that. But no, because it's like that was such a cliche. Like it didn't sit well with me. And not because like my dad and I and my mother and I have great relationships. So let me just put that out there. I love them. But because so many other women were going around saying, I want to marry a man just like my daddy. I'm like, nah, I don't know if I want that. But the older that I get, the value I see in it, because I was really like, nah, like I don't want nobody that's like him. Like I don't. But I will say that, yeah, like my dad was an excellent provider. My dad is here for me even now. Like we're grown. And if I need him, he's coming. And now,
would he come for you quicker than he come for Dante?
Well, yeah, because I live down the street from them. No, but no, like generally speaking, no, like they love us, the three of us, the same.
If Julian Bobby said, Dad, I'm on the highway with a flat tire, I'm like, all right, man, call AAA, you good. My daughter's out there, I'm getting up and getting in the car and go get her.
Yeah.
So it is back to the roles. It is a difference between roles.
Yeah. It's so weird though, but like I said, I understand the value of it now. And just like how I don't mean to get churchy, but like your sister said on my podcast, like it's in us. And I've always said that, you know what, like if Jesus is concerned about the things that concern me, I'm gonna need the man who I consider and then date and court and eventually marry to also be concerned about the things that concern me. That is my litmus test. And it don't have to be nothing hard.
Y'all can trust me if you want to. Most men want two women to cook for them. Their mother and their girl. Y'all can believe that. I believe that to the day. Y'all can put that on my tombstone.
I agree with that.
I'm telling you.
I think it was just your delivery in it, good Bishop.
That's my delivery. No, I'm big. I'm massive protoplasm man.
And you from up north, like it's a whole thing. Like
I'm finding out these Southerners. That's another thing.
So how did you interpret what he said?
I laughed because again, it don't really apply to me because I cook and I bake. Like people pay good money for these pound cakes and stuff that I'm slinging over here and getting them shipped everywhere.
But again, I'm not saying you have to cook.
No, but you should know how. We should know how. We should know how. And I'm a firm believer in. I'm not saying that my dude has to cook, but he should also know how to cook. Like it is a running joke, but also seriousness with me and other people where I'm like, what were y'all doing before women came into your lives? Like, because as soon as you get a woman, you act like you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to clean. Huh?
What if y'all get a man like me? I ain't never not had a woman in my life. Let me say you this why. Kenyon started, we dated at 14, so I'm still living with my mama. Mm-hmm. When I started playing professional basketball at 18 and went out to college, I'm still dating Kenyon. Still have my grandma. So what do you do when a man never not had a woman in his life? Like her sons. She's in their son's life. They see her. And one is real not clinging to her, but real close. Both of them
Mama's
close.
boy.
Yeah, like a mama's like I am. Like I don't mind that. But my
You
point
know-
is, what do you do there? No, but he's a mama boy that works. He ain't no mama boy.
Yeah,
that,
he's responsible.
See,
He's
Yeah,
not
that's
like baby boy.
Yeah, it's
That's
a difference
fine.
between being mama's boy with responsibilities versus
I don't
mama's
know.
boy
I-
who
I-
live off mama.
And let me just say this. I
That mic is funny.
entertain and have entertained a lot of men, not to be confused with dating them and for the purpose of getting into a relationship, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of hard for me because I don't subscribe to like serial dating. Like I don't date for sport. Like I've always dated with a purpose even before that phrase became popular. So it's kind of hard for me to my ex was like always, I don't want to say he was a jumper, but he was definitely one of those that was like he always had women around. Right. And so it's like, hey, like, and it's not that I don't want to cook, but if you're expecting me to do that every time we see each other,
Oh no,
like
no, ain't nobody
every
doing
time I come over or
Ain't nobody
whatever the
cooking
case
every
is.
day. Ain't nobody doing that every day. Not every. The world
Right.
is just different. The world. And then there's another thing. This is why you gotta be. A lot of people were speaking from their pain, and I feel that you got a 60-second clip. I mean, you gotta realize ain't nobody cooking every day. I mean,
No.
we're just not doing that anymore. That's the day and time we're in, not in.
I
But
mean,
would-
and quite frankly, no one has to cook every day because we have crock pots. Like leftovers are okay. Leftovers are okay. Like I'm team meal prep even now. But if I needed to go get in the kitchen and cook a good whole meal,
That's
like
all I was saying. That's all I was saying. All right.
but
so
it
that's what-
shouldn't be. But it shouldn't be on demand / on command. Like I don't know what we're doing. But
Okay,
anyway,
y'all don't want to be told what to do.
no. I mean, yes, but no.
Let me
So
tell you something.
there's
My
a
wife-
way
let me tell
that
something
you
about Lady
can ask. I have
came to a
meals
lady
right
that-
now
watch
in
this.
my brain. I'm like,
Watch
whenever
this.
I meet whomever he is, he
Watch
gonna
this.
get this chicken piccata because that's my dish, right? But for you
Education
to,
you all black women have evolved more since the not creation. You're going back to what you used to be. You used to be the Dahomey women, queens and Amazon women who fought and was queens of nations and all that. But let me tell you something. You don't have to fight for your position. You've always been a queen. You've
Yes.
always been head of nations and warriors. You don't have to fight for this. But don't sacrifice your family for your careers. All right? Don't get a BBL thinking he's going to love you because of that. You're going to get attention from certain men. But after the hours of the strip club, most men don't want that anyway.
they want chicken
good woman.
wings.
So I've got to do the minute rule with you as I close. I will start with you first. Adrian, you asked the one word answers. I would ask you, do you expect to be married in the next 3 years? Yes or no?
Yes,
Does he have to be black or white?
black.
All right. Would if he gets out of prison, will you marry him?
No,
Why?
because that would imply that he's in prison. I don't desire, and I don't believe, I don't believe that would be God's best for me.
Okay. All right. What age would you desire to be married?
43.
No.
That's next year.
Oh, that's next year. Yeah. Let's say. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
They told me to don't answer. One word answer. Would you marry outside of the race?
If he was Dominican.
Okay. they dogmatic men.
I don't believe all of them are though.
Does he have to be a preacher?
No.
Will either one of you marry an unsaved man?
No.
Wait a minute. It's degrees to unsaved. He could be church boy unsaved.
No. It won't work. It won't work.
Church boy unsaved.
It won't work.
Okay. Lastly, do you expect to have any more children?
Oh.
Oh, I don't have any, so I'm ready to have all of my husband's babies. Shoot the club up.
All right. Okay. Well, I think hold on. I'm very thankful for this time we met and we had the clip. You all heard that, so I'm hearing it wrong. I think women just took it. This is what happened.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Women, yes, they don't want to be told what to do. And then watch this. Y'all don't believe it, but we have been conditioned to receive from effeminate men more than alpha males. You don't believe that, but it's the truth. The whole world has effeminized us. We don't even know. Through COVID and all, we don't even know we've been conditioned to be. We got to say it a certain way. We got to be kind and soft. And then because when a man comes real passionate and hard like an alpha male, that is so rude and misogynistic. And because the voice of James Evans is mute.
I'm gonna tell you that again. That has a lot to do with where you're from, but also, and I know we're getting ready to get off.
No.
What Dr. Lambert just said, I agree with. What you said, I disagree with. We want to be told what to do, but by a certain man. Again, I would like to direct your attention to Coming to America from 1987 when Daryl was like, "Hey." He was like, all women want a man to take charge and tell them
this
what to
little
do.
Mike in your
He
voice
ain't
is
lying.
Look,
He ain't
I
lying.
want me a mic.
Hear it again. I wish Lady Mae would do her head to it. You took Dr. Lambert's advice over a man's advice.
No. I'm not taking her advice over your advice. I'm saying I agree with her, and then I went to my Coming to America reference because that's the movie I reference for everything.
Let me see what she said.
She said women
There's
like
nothing worse than a
assertive.
man who can rescue you from danger. I love that.
No, not that one. She said women like strong, assertive men when they are also responsible. We don't mind being told what to do by those type of men. So if there is a woman who says that she doesn't want to be told what to do, and it's not a you better do this type thing, but it's a hey, like go ahead.
So
and do that.
you all really have an epidemic going on with you all. Because then you're finding out our rich black men in the NFL and NBA are not marrying y'all, they're marrying other outside the race. Why is that? You all have a negative connotation as though you're angry. And this week showed it. You're angry. You don't want to be told.
I am not angry. I want to be told what to do. But as a consensus, there are a lot of angry black women. And I already told you why that is for a lot of them, because they gave up the cookie. And then they found that man really did not want them. Like he didn't want to be with them. He just wanted to have sex with them. And now they're hurt and angry and bitter and all the negative things.
So I'm going to give you the advice that I give my spiritual daughters. Mm-hmm. The Bible said, whosoever findeth a wife find a good thing. Whosoever, so your friend can find your wife. But most of the time, the Bible says that Naomi put Ruth in the path of Boaz. You all are in the path of a lot of jackasses and not Boazes. So therefore, you need to go, you and your homegirls, I guarantee you if you do this, go to happy hour. Go to 4-star restaurants, 5-star restaurants. Go to happy hour. You don't have to drink. And sit at the bar where businessmen are getting off work downtown that want to have a quick drink before they go home and just unload. You'll find more men. Go to Lowe's. Go to Home Depot. You have to put yourself in a position to be seen. Sitting at home, fasting and praying. And I said that too in the clip. I said, we don't care if you fast and pray. We don't care if you fast. Church boys do, but I'm talking about real men. We don't care if you fast and pray. Mm-hmm. Can you cook? Do you know how to take care of your business? Are you boss shape? We don't care if you fast. All that don't matter. So put yourself in a position. Stop thinking that some women that may wives think you're inadequate, that you got to pull tricks, you got to sleep with a man to get you. No, the right man will be in a posture and get up early and go. Don't get up at 3 o'clock because you might find the selection is smaller earlier. So the earlier you go to Lowe's, you understand this man gets up and they have a job, and then trick him and say, "Can you help me reach that up there and get it?"
That's a nugget, ladies.
No, I'm just trying to tell you, but that won't go viral. And I guarantee if Lady Mae would have said what I said, y'all, it wouldn't have been no problem. But God bless you. I ain't changing. I'm coming even harder next time. Thank you.
I'm looking to hear some more. Get some more nuggets.
This was good. Thank you for having me on.
I'm ready.
Yes.
You
Yes,
All right,
go to
Shirley.
Lowe's, Home Depot. Go to steak restaurants, like Bishop said. Like, I'm agreeing with everything that you just said in the last minute and a half.
Oh,
Amen.
she's in the last minute.
See, this is
Anything
what
prior.
Dr. Lambert is right. She said, go to the restaurants at the movie studios where they sell builders, they make six figures and are masculine. Yes, yes. That's all I'm saying. But listen, you can't be on a non-masculine platform and want a masculine man to talk.
Absolutely not.
Good day. All right.
Good night.
Mic
Have a
drop.
good night.
All right. Thank you all for logging in. We'll see y'all. You need to move to Charlotte, move to North Carolina. That's what's wrong with you. Go and come to move to North Carolina. All right. Bye.